welcome to Limitless, the show that brings you love and inspiration on a Saturday morning. And of course, today is a special day because I have Her Excellency, Reverend Mrs. Ethel Diete-Spiff, in on the show with me. And of course, a very special day. Welcome, Reverend.
Thank you very much, Maria.
And of course, you know, it's so special to have you on the show because out of all the guests that I've had on this show, this is so very special. Not only are you here with me in the flesh, which is very unique for me, but also the fact that you are my mummy, you're my mother, and you have been my greatest inspiration. Now, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but the times in my life where I wanted to give up on certain projects or certain things, whenever I think about you and I think about all the things that you've achieved, it really spurs me on. So you are really, truly my greatest inspiration. So the first question I'm going to pose to you, my dearest, is what makes you so limitless?
Well, first of all, Maria, I must say that I'm glad to be your mother. And to be interviewed by you is something I will never forget until the Lord calls me. Well, what makes me so limitless? Jesus. And nothing more than Jesus. Because each time I think of all that He has done for me in my life, bringing up my children to what they are today, you being the last of 4 children, it gives me untold joy. And it gives me immeasurable pleasure. And who did it all? Not by my power, not by my mind, but by the love of Jesus. He loves me so much, I don't know about anybody else. But I know of myself. He loves me so much that He has been with me all along the way. And each time I overcome any difficulty I face, I think of His love. And He's always there to lift me up and put me back on the straight and narrow. I give Him all the glory.
Now, I know that you started MIPI, and that was a concept, Mother's Initiative for Peace. That was a concept that you started many years ago when I was young. Tell us a little bit about how the whole thing began. The Oil Museum in Bayelsa State. Tell us about all of that. What was the inspiration?
Well, I'm happy. I laughed because when you said when you were young, I remember when you presented the bouquet to the Vice President on his first visit at the launching of the Oil Museum. And look at you today, interviewing me. What a word. I say thank you to the Lord Almighty. Well, some time ago, before before Bayelsa was created, it was just Rivers and Bayelsa, and I was the first chairman of the tourism board. And I went around looking for tourism spots that we could develop. And I came across this monument that looked like this, I don't know what to call it, that looked like a cross. And that was what attracted me. So I said, what is that? It looks like a cross. And some other members of my team who are more experienced than myself, like the DG of the Museum Commission at that time, said, that's the first oil well. I said, that one? And he said, yes. I said, it looks like a cross. He said, yes, that's how it is. So I said, let's go, let's move nearer. And we moved closer, and I looked at it, and I just gave God the praise because I had studied it at school. And I never knew it existed on earth. Because the way it was portrayed to us, it was something, unimaginable. And at that time too, whatever we did as a little girl, it was oil boom. Oil boom. I remember my mother had a cloth that, a wrapper, we call it wrapper in the Niger Delta.
Yeah.
And it was named oil boom wrapper.
Why?
Because that was when the oil was first struck.
Oh, I see.
And so it made a name.
Yeah.
And it changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
There was business improved.
Yeah.
Civilization came back.
Yeah, because money came.
Yeah, because money came.
Yeah, along with the oil.
So you had your hair plaited, it was called oil boom.
Like oil boom hairstyle.
Yes, oil boom hairstyle.
Yeah.
Whatever you did, especially with the women, it was oil boom.
Yeah.
And at school, they came around teaching us about this oil, the advantages, the hazards, So I learned it at school. And coming to see it alive, it meant a lot to me. And from then, we decided to immortalize it.
Yes, yeah. I think these sorts of things that you see in the history books or it's taught in school, sometimes it's easy to forget it.
Yes.
It's easy for people just forget that, this is where it all started, especially when it made such a difference in the economy and the positioning of Nigeria, in the global economy and the global world and the respect that money brings. So yeah, I can totally understand you wanting to, as you said, immortalize it and bring it to life again, or at least let everybody else be able to see the roots of it and the history of it. Was it easy to get your plans, heard and to establish it and to get people to understand the cause?
It wasn't easy, but it was easy because at that time, the vice president of the nation was an architect.
Right.
So he immediately bought him.
Yeah.
Bought the idea, because he could see where we are going to.
Yeah.
When I said we, I mean me and my board. I was the chairman. So immediately he bought him and sold the idea to the president.
Yeah.
And so that government supported us.
Yes.
So we decided to launch it and to lay the foundation stone. Of course, you were a young girl then, and you participated in presenting bouquets to the president, to the vice president, to everyone that came, everyone who was anyone that came along that time. You were presenting bouquets. But after that regime passed or ended, the next regime didn't want to know anything about it. And that was not their priority. That didn't mean anything to them. At that stage, I had to leave the country.
So now you had this dream that God had given you to start the oil museum, which I remember very vividly, with the bouquets and as a little girl being part of the ceremony, and how grand it was. It was full of hope.
Oh yes, with hope, yes.
And then of course the coup, 1983, 1984 came about,
Yes.
and we had to flee the country. We went to Togo, Benin, and then we went to London.
Yes.
Now, coming back, what had changed in the country?
Coming back, I think the youths now are revolted because there was no job.
Yeah.
They needed money.
Yeah.
The children were not going to school anymore.
Yeah.
And the people were just drilling the oil and exporting the oil.
So basically, the oil wasn't even bringing wealth to the local community.
No, it wasn't bringing wealth to the local community. That was what the youth in Niger Delta were angry about.
Yeah.
And then most homes were broken. And these women came to me, not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
That was only what they could remember, some of them. And then Jane would tell Comfort would tell Mary that Ethel is here, and that was how they came with all their problems. So
lack of employment, family division, and just basically the work of the enemy. How did that manifest on the ground level? Meaning, what was the consequences? How was it affecting the families?
Families were broken because their sons went into the bush for safety.
Right.
For safety, because the government was after them. They were now, the rebels.
Right.
All right, so they are taking refuge, you know, in the bush, in the forest, or whatever, in the creeks. Uh-huh. And mothers were left empty.
Right.
Homes were broken. Children couldn't go to school. And when a girl cannot go to school, what else do you want her to do? She will need money to buy little things that she little makeups and things like that.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing that, she may get pregnant.
So a lot of teenage pregnancies.
Right. And so as these women came in, I had to take care of them. I had to look after them. Then the Lord said to me, talk to them. Why don't you get them together and pray? And that was when Second Chronicles 7 came to me.
Yes, yeah.
And as we started that, there was development.
Yes, yes. So the power of prayer in Chronicles 14 verse 7 made a huge difference.
Oh yes, and then we now came together.
Yeah.
I said this cannot continue. Let's start praying. Let's start praying. And we immediately formed the Mothers Initiative for Peace International in Niger Delta.
How do you feel that the Lord was able to use you with having come from such a grand sort of, background and all the other things that you've done, being head of tourism as well? How do you think the Lord was able to use you in a unique way?
Because when you see people you admire, and people who have been your role model all along, and you feel you can talk to them, and you can cry to them, and they will listen. There's nothing else you can do than to put yourself together and find out where they are, and go to them and tell them their problems. Because you will get an answer. Because the Lord has put them there for purpose.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, and
so I don't regard myself in any way as being so important to anybody else. But I feel the Lord has put me where He has put me for a purpose. And I will search for that purpose until the end.
So what happened with the project, the All Museum project in the end? How did that turn out?
Well, it's still there, just as I left it. Nothing has happened for 40 years now. Nothing has happened. But when I found out that nothing was happening around that area, the Lord said, branch out. Help the women. They need you in every way. Talk to them, encourage them, help them to find something to do for themselves, to become women again. That was how Mothers Initiative came to be.
What I see in this whole thing is, of course, God has called you to go to that area and shine a torch as such. As to what's so great. And what the human mind automatically thinks is oil. Because that's this black gold. When you say, well, oil, oil is the thing. Let's shine a light on the oil and the history of the oil and how much it has made a difference. But I think that at the end of the day, what the Holy Spirit has automatically now done is shown you another commodity, if you like. This is, earthen vessels. The beauty within the earthen vessels. How do we shine a light on the great thing that God has placed there? And that's the people. It's always going to be the people.
Yes, the people.
The treasures in the hearts of
man. My mind, instead of focusing my mind on the black gold, I'm focusing my mind on the people. That live within the black gold.
The jars of clay that carries treasures. The treasures within. And that is what is so absolutely beautiful about this, and I love it. I know that we spoke as well about the theological college, the seminary that you wanted to set up. Tell us the vision behind that.
Well, I believe the Lord has much more than just the oil well for me to do in that part of the country. I know that wherever you have a collection of people, and there are for instance, different areas, there's the possibility of having of something, unimaginable things happening. And I believe that just me can do. And God said, if you will, as He said, if you will hearken to my voice, I will give you the strength that you need to expand and do greater things than the old vision for me.
Yes.
The old vision was just one particular project, but now He wants you to branch out. Take your mind off the old vision. Branch out. There are others like you who are struggling, want to know me. Branch out and tell them. Teach them what you know about me. You know me and you know me well. Now go out and teach others about me. I would like a theological ceremony where you will teach them, the boys and the girls, to go out into the creeks and tell others in the 9 odd producing states about what I have done in your life, what I can do in their lives.
Yes, most definitely. The classic case of hand somebody, food, or teach them how to grow their own food.
Yes.
So
that's why I started praying about it, and then it has been on my mind. And recently, I went there to look for the land, and I've been given the land, a good size portion of land. And when I mentioned this to the king of the area, he was quite happy with me and agreed to be part of what I'm doing. And so we're looking forward to the Lord who has called me and the Lord who has sent me will fulfill it.
Amen. Tell me about the medical outreach, the vision behind that.
When the war ended, the Niger Delta, when it was invited by the government for a peace talk, most of them were sick. And then we thought of the medical outreach to get the medical team to come in and then give them some medications, take their blood pressure, and things like that. And then because most of them came out, give their lives to Christ. Yes. And also, the medical team came in with their drugs and their medications. And at that time also, we were able to entertain the elderly, who had survived this critical situation. Went in there with some food stuff, and they were quite happy. It's quite happy. They were quite happy, and you need to see some of them, the elderly ones with their sticks who could not even walk, coming to collect their share of their ration, of the provisions we got. Hugging me.
Wow. It's so sad that you have these people who've lived their lifetime working, and serving the country as such, to be living on oil and not being able to live in that kind of level of wealth that they deserve.
Or not being able to understand the life the people are going through, where this oil that has made them so rich and popular.
Yeah, you mean the government?
Oh no, not me, the government. I mean those who are extracting the oil.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Not understanding the roots of it.
Their creeks are all polluted
Yeah.
with oil.
Yeah. So they're
Their
sick.
farmlands
They're not
are all
healthy.
their farmlands are all polluted,
Yeah.
polluted with oil.
What about the sanitation and just the general lifestyle? What kind of conditions are they living in?
Nothing to write home about.
Wow. And they're literally standing on the wealth of Nigeria. They're
That's
living on
it.
there.
You see, that was why I said that we should establish that museum to be able to show. Some of them are exporters of this crude oil. They've never seen what the crude oil looks like.
Wow.
They've never seen it.
Yeah.
And they have oil wells.
But never bothered to go on.
They don't know what it looks like. But in the museum, they'll be able to at least see.
Yes.
And generations unborn will be able to see what the crude oil looks like. Maybe at that time, the crude oil would have finished.
Yeah.
Yes. But at least you will leave a memorial. And then there are so many things that are made from this crude oil that children in this school don't know.
Yeah.
You can get people, organize them to be making those things on the spot.
Yeah.
So that as the children go on excursions, they can see these things how they are made.
Yeah.
And they can go and make them in their own homes.
Exactly.
And
Create
they are
jobs and
Yes.
another sort of another profession.
That's
You know,
it.
but at the moment it's just
There are materials that are made from it.
yeah.
There are plates, cups,
Yeah.
mugs. Show them these things.
Yeah.
Get the people to be doing that. Let the children go around on excursions
Yeah, that's definitely
to see
needed.
these things.
Yeah. It's a whole industry that's been
It's
forgotten.
there past 40 years or more.
Wow. So what do you think needs to be done now to really wake up the government so they can realize that this is literally another gold, another pot of gold here or at least if it's not something that you get that financial reward, it's definitely wealth in the heart of the young.
Well, I thank
And the
God that at the
uneducated.
moment there is the minister in charge of that section comes from that section.
Yeah.
So, austerity, judging.
Yes, most definitely. Okay, going back to what we talked about with regard to the Creek Ogbia Crusade medical outreach. Tell us a bit more about some of the developments and how that has really changed the community now.
Well, we haven't been able to do much, as you know, with the COVID.
Right.
So everything is on hold for now. But even then, we are still planning. Yes. As soon as the COVID is over, even before the COVID is over, see how things, how things are going this year. Intend to go to another one.
What's your plans for the future with that? What do you envisage, in let's say 5 years' time with this particular crusade?
The crusade is so resource. The last one we had about 10 people give their lives to Christ. So we had the day, was made whole. So we had the dumb, smoke. We had the man, got back to life. I was asking his wife, where am I? Can you imagine that?
No.
I wept. And the wife held him. He said, where am I? And the moderator asked him when he came back to life, came back to his senses. Do you know her?
Yes. What did he
He
say?
recognized her. He looked at her. He looked at her. He looked at her again and screamed, she's my wife. You can imagine when they walked themselves.
Yes.
This was after 2 years of absence from home.
Walking the streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
At first, when his sister went to get him, to bring him to the crusade ground, he started running and going further and further into the bush. And they chased him,
Yes.
caught him, and brought him to the crusade ground. When I came to the crusade ground, I was going around making sure the amplifiers were working, the loudspeakers were working, everything was in order. And I saw this beautiful young lady following me behind. I thought she liked me, and she was following me. So when I've done all that and I went back to my seat, she came and sat next to me. I said, yes, can I help you? And she said, I'm the sister of the man that the man of God said I should go to a certain place and look for, that he's there hiding. I went there and I found him hiding. As soon as he saw me and the team that I went with, he started running into the bush. And we ran after him and caught him. I said, you caught him? He said, yes. I said, where is he? He said, see. You could see the tears on him. He was sitting on the ground.
Wow.
So as soon as the man of God came to the crusade ground, I told him, I said, that man you spoke of yesterday, they brought him. I said, where is the man? I said, see him. I said, bring him here. And come and you can see the prayer. The prayer now, so the warfare now started. He wanted to run, they held him. He wanted to run, they held him. And eventually he gave up. And he got up. So where am I? Who are all these people? Where am I? He got to leave it. You could see the tears running down the eyes of him.
What an amazing title. You called it the Medical Crusade, but actually it's healing for all aspects.
We have medical in the mornings. We have healing in the evenings.
But it's I mean, the word of God, medicine for the soul, for sure. The mind, body, and soul, spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. You know, all aspects.
We plan to have it yearly. And then all those who give their lives to Christ started attending baptismal classes. And we have baptized.
Praise God.
And that is why the communical center is very necessary.
Yes, to keep the
work going. Because once they are baptized, you know, you start grooming them and teaching them the word of God. And then they cannot fit into the communical center. And now they'll be trained properly and highly, and then they'll be launched out to the creeks with their Bible and their kids who can establish churches.
God, praise God. It's like Jesus said, you know, feed my sheep, feed my lamb.
He fed me.
That's right.
Jesus fed me, fed my children, and now he says, feed my lamb.
That's right.
Who am I to save me?
You have come a long way and done so much, gained so many victories by the power of the grace of God. So what do we expect in the future? What are the plans for the next few months, years? You know, what is God laying in your heart and what you desire to see as the time goes on?
Well, at the moment, as I said, I've been able to secure a portion of land. And we're just waiting for the COVID to die down. You know. Well, we intend to set up a theological center where the youth can be trained and equipped and sent out to the Greeks to evangelize and also win souls for Christ. And also do warfare with Satan and his cohorts in the Greeks, because that is their dwelling place. And I know with the power of the Lord behind us, we will succeed.
Praise God. Praise God. There are people out there who would really want to get involved in what you're doing, and they would, you know, they want to support you either through donations or partnership or just wanting to know how the whole project is developing. How does the audience connect with you and find out a little bit more?
They can also get it on my email or go to my website, you know, for more information. And then I will gladly welcome them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's been strange, actually, obviously, because you're my mother. And of course, although, you know, put that aside, you are still a very, very powerful woman of God. And I just thank God for your ministry. I thank God for what you're doing in the Niger Delta region and around Nigeria. And I thank God for all those who are benefiting from just that simple yes that you said to God many years ago. Because I know I've benefited. Thank you. You know, so yeah,
thank God for those who are benefiting and those who will support. Thank God for them too. And I pray that God will bring them closer each day so we can get more support in that part of the country,
Yeah.
and let the work of God continue to grow. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
I'm proud of you, my daughter. God bless you and strengthen you
Amen.
as you continue to work in His vineyard.
Amen. That's happened.